I've got something I did want to say. Did you see John Joe Shelby got a goal at the weekend?
Yeah,
No.
yeah,
Yeah, he's pretty
yeah,
much scored the winner in that game, didn't he?
yeah.
Yeah. Now, you guys have probably seen this as well, but he's taken 31 free kicks, and that is the first time he scored, which begs the question, why the hell were they letting him take so many free kicks? Who gets to take 31 free kicks without scoring? What point do you think, you know what, you're not all that good at free kicks?
Yeah,
We'll
for
put
real.
something else on. That is nearly a season's worth of free. That's nearly him taking a free kick every game for a season and not scoring one. I find that mystifying.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Sorry, I just had to get that in there.
You're all about to witness a monumental throwdown.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to FPL Bros. This is episode 9. And we're recording just after Gameweek 11 on a Tuesday. You're listening to Coda. How are you guys doing?
Good, but it's a Monday today. It's game week 11 on a Monday.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I wish it was a
Crap.
Tuesday.
Yeah, no, that would be nice. That would be nice. A shortened week. So, yeah, anyway, yeah, we're well and truly up and running as far as the pod's going. It's going well. It's going good. So,
Yeah.
hopefully we're going to have another good episode this week.
Got a lot
And
to talk about.
yeah, well, we've got a fair bit. If we want to do the scores, my favourite part. We all had a pretty good game week this week. I think a lot of people had a good game week, but I think the people who probably had the best were the ones who had Mane, of which I was not one because I stuck with Salah and I captained Sterling.
Typical Sterling fail. I had that too.
I wouldn't even say Sterling's a typical fail because you just never know with Man City. Like they call it the pep roulette. You just don't know. Like I know so many people who took Aguero out their team this week.
Yeah,
So,
and then he got a goal.
yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is,
Yeah.
if you're spending 12 mil on Sterling, he better be giving me braces or hat tricks. And that's what's frustrating.
He has had a hat trick though. I think it was the first week of the season.
No, I mean every week.
Every week.
I'll tell you what.
I think, yeah, I think they will come. I think he's going to be the highest scoring player this season.
I think that's a possibility. But also, people who had Leicester players.
Vardy's
like
going to be the
Jamie
highest scorer.
Yeah.
Possibly. I mean, he's on penalties and he plays pretty much every game. But Sterling gets more points for a goal. That's the thing.
That's a good point. But then
Yeah.
rotation, like we said, Sterling's going to get rested more.
True. I think that's the biggest advantage for Leicester this season is they don't have Europe, unlike the other big 6 teams.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I got 63 points.
Well done.
Green arrow. I think. Did you do the best out of us, Derek?
No, I got 60 points and I got a red arrow.
Oh.
Son.
So yeah, again, it's Mr. Mercer.
Yeah.
Captain in Mane.
68. I got 68. Captain
Wow.
Mane. Abraham.
I'm so lucky.
Abraham. I swapped Mane in the morning. I put Mane as my captain in the morning before the game. Abraham, yeah. I had Abraham and I had Aubameyang as well. The person that didn't score for me was Callum Wilson up front. So that they weren't good. Alexander-Arnold managed to get me an assist. Nathan Ake got me 6 points. I don't know why. What was Bournemouth's score?
There was 1-0.
So they won 1-0.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nathan Ake. Not bad.
Yeah. Okay. So if we get going, start the discussion off. Obviously, the Everton and Spurs, there is a fair amount surrounding that game, I won't deny. I actually put it down as a topic because I wanted to know whether you guys thought there were signs of recovery for either of those teams. But having given it a lot more thought, that's probably not the right word to use, is it really? Don't look like either of them are really recovering, does it?
I would say they're surviving. When I say surviving, I don't mean surviving in Premier League. I mean surviving, having to uplift what the expectations of the two clubs are. The amount of money Everton have spent is absolutely is that of a top 6 club. So that's what Everton are supposed to be aiming for. And Spurs is really.
Yeah. I was just going to say that a lot of people have said it was an awful game, but I've seen much worse. I don't think it was that bad. And I thought at the beginning, obviously, Spurs weren't that good. Everton were stringing together their passes well, but when it came to the final third, they were just lacking. That was my view anyway.
Yeah.
What do you think about Calvert-Lewin?
He's still too young. Richarlison is the most dangerous player, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I think potentially their most dangerous player is Sigurdsson. And a lot of people won't agree with me on that, but I think if he comes good, it can be a massive change for them.
I think the problem they've got with Sigurdsson is that you've got to be leery of building a team too much around a player. And if he's in the team, sure, he plays well. He takes a lot of set pieces and penalties and corners, all the rest of it. But sometimes it can affect the other players negatively because they have played well without him in the team.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Siggy is a good playmaker, and when he's on his game, he is literally unplayable. But we haven't seen that Siggy since the 16-17 season. And to be fair, like, I don't think the Siggy we expect is the one we're going to get. He sometimes turns up, he gives the odd goal and stuff, but he's not a game changer. Do you know what I mean? Sigurdsson is not your Kevin De Bruyne. He's not your... I'm trying to think of someone who's a game changer. He's not your Origi. He's not...
Well, he's a game changer in his own way. I mean, when you're talking about Kevin De Bruyne's, the Zaha's, talismanic players, you know, that kind of thing. What I will say about Everton is that apparently the next two are Norwich and Southampton, but after that, the fixtures do stiffen up for them quite a bit. I still think Digne is worth a look, but it is a lot of money for a defender when you've got more expensive defenders delivering and also cheaper defenders keeping clean sheet. Out of their attackers, it's still really looking like Richarlison who's going to do anything.
Yeah, but so I mean, they're hovering around above relegation at the moment, which is quite disappointing. They need a big push because Everton they are usually a top 6 club, and it is quite disappointing for them to be not only bottom half of the table, but almost in relegation zone. That is quite poor form. So they need to pull it out.
My experience of Everton is that if there's one thing they value above everything else, it's their top flight status, because they're the one team which has never been relegated. And they usually act quite quickly when there's even the merest hint of them getting relegated. Yeah, they let Moyes get away with it a couple of times because I think ultimately they knew that he was going to keep them in the league, even if it was by the skin of the teeth. But when they have managers who they're just quite worryingly bad, they just don't waste any time. So Marco Silva, I think he's going to be feeling it right now. But anyway, if they get some change out of the next 2 games, which they really ought to, perhaps they'll be looking a little bit healthier.
Yeah, I think that 1-1 score against Tottenham is basically a win for Everton. I think that's equivalent to a win.
That's cold. Yeah. A lot of people feel that they should have won that game.
No, Everton fans I've actually spoken to as well. Before the game, they didn't believe they had a hope in hell.
Really?
Yeah.
I disagree. Spurs have been looking really shaky at the back, and obviously Everton are not the greatest team with the greatest track record, but I mean, I think there are a few more teams they'd rather not play than Spurs. So I think they were quite happy they had Spurs at home.
Lest we forget, Spurs didn't have Kane. Yeah, Spurs didn't have Kane. Plus, Everton, they just came off beating West Ham quite impressively. The game against Brighton, they probably should not have lost. They actually played very well in that game, and on another day, they could have won that one. But I think with that penalty decision, a lot of people said the draw was quite deserved. So again, I don't think the results of Everton quite tell the full story. What?
It's true. But this is West Ham we're talking about, the victory. And in all honesty, how many more teams than Spurs can Everton expect to beat? So it's literally just top 6. Yeah, and Spurs are part of the top 6. And Everton are not comfortably beating anybody in the top 6.
Well, again, we're not even a third of the way through the season. Anyway, Spurs, Dele Alli, to me, he looks like, again, he's showing signs. I thought the goal he scored, again, he took it really well, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, Ali looks very ordinary to me now. I'm not even criticising the boy. He's a good player. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, but he doesn't stand out. He doesn't scream, "Buy me, I will get you
No.
points after
But
points." He's just
what I will say is Poch obviously trusts the kid, yeah. That's the third time he's completed 90 minutes now. So out of all the Spurs midfielders, how many can you say are going to stay on the pitch for the full game? Not many of them. He's staying on the pitch. He can score the goals. I would still keep my eye on him. He could surprise a lot of people. Again, I think a lot of people are being put off Spurs by basically that they've set very high standards that they're failing to live up to this season. But I still think that Ali is one of the players who might tick along nicely.
if Spurs
Or
could
not.
replicate the Champions League form in the Prem, I would definitely buy him. But
Yeah, maybe.
I see that.
Yeah, maybe. Actually, very quickly, before we move on, I just wanted to say quickly, obviously, Andre Gomez, what happened to him was absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
And obviously, I think everybody who likes football wishes him well. I just want to say, though, I'm quite pessimistic because I know a little bit about the kind of injury that he suffered, a fracture dislocation to your ankle. Obviously, he's had the surgery. Spurs says it was successful, but that's going to be internal fixation. In other words, they're going to be putting metal and screws in there so the ankle heals well. Also, they have to be careful that when that leg does heal, one leg does not end up shorter than the other, because that's another difficulty. Basically, what I'm saying is that I think there's a good chance he might not be able to play top-level football after that injury.
Let's wish the best for him, and
Yeah.
yeah.
All the best to him. So hopefully I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong, and we wish him a speedy recovery.
You're all about to witness a monumental throwdown.
Hockey. Norwich. Have we got a new set of whipping boys, or perhaps they've just joined the old whipping boys and we've got two sets of whipping boys now, not just one?
I don't know what happened with Norwich. They had such a great start to the season, and now it's embarrassing.
That's just how it goes, man. You get promoted, you spend one season enjoying it, and it's back down to earth. Payments, just back down to playing Kidderminster Harriers in the FA Trophy. Yeah, I think the explanation is relatively simple. They suffered a hell of a lot of injuries in the past 3 or 4 weeks, and even though they've got a player slowly coming back, it's just messed with their system too much, basically, and they can't hack it.
Do you know what I would be off right now if I was Pep?
Why? Oh, because they lost to them.
Yeah.
I think the thing about Pep, I think he's taking every game as it comes because he understands what the stakes really are, and he's waiting for Liverpool to make a mistake, to eventually make a mistake, because Liverpool are not going to keep winning and drawing every single game. I'll be honest with you, the way Liverpool look right now is that they look like a loss is coming. Unless Ox or someone like that gets that more game time and add an extra element to their game, it doesn't look that stable.
To be fair to Liverpool, and I like the way that you always manage to steer the conversation towards them, even though we're supposed to be talking about Norwich.
Oh, yeah.
To be fair to Liverpool, the players are stepping up when they need to. Obviously Salah's got this ongoing problem with his ankle, but Mane, like we've always suspected, is doing the business. And before we go back to Norwich, although there's not really much more to say about them, I would just like to say I'm really miffed about this because for a long time I always thought Mane was the man. Then Salah came along and outscored him for 2 seasons. So I had to change my thinking around, and now I'm thinking, well, Salah's the man. And now Mane's finally becoming the person who outscores Salah, and I've gone with Salah. I'm always backing the wrong person in that team. Obviously, I'm bitter because of what happened this week. If I'd had Mane instead of Salah, I'd be 8 points up on that deal, man. Instead, I put breathing down my neck, James.
I think they do have swings, don't they? You have the season where Salah is on fire, and the season where Mane is on fire. Yeah. But I do see Salah coming back and literally destroying teams again. Because Salah is Salah. At the end of the day, he is class. And he might not show it week in, week out. But when he does have that 1 or 2 games where he starts scoring, then it's just going to keep flowing through. But for now, I am on Mane. I'm just waiting for Salah to get that first couple of goals. And then I think I'm going to switch back to him because he's, I think, the safer scoring option. He loves taking on players. He's selfish, which is good for me. Yeah. As an owner, and he's on penalties if Milner's not on the pitch. So
that's what you want. Anyway, Norwich. All I have to say is that you can captain people against them now. I think, although obviously you have to be careful if you captain the penalty taker, because obviously Crawler's quite good at saving the penalties.
Can you believe that? 2 penalty saves.
You got to remember, this is not new. This is not new. This is the same guy, Louis Van Gaal, subbed off Sillerson at the end just to put him in.
Yeah,
just put him in goal. And he them penalties.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing exactly. Okay.
Yeah.
Okie.
There's one other thing, actually. Can I bring up one topic?
Go on.
I want to bring up a topic about Balotelli walking off the pitch. I think that was really brave. And if anybody was going to do it, and make that real stand, the first person to actually make the game end by walking off the pitch, it had to be him.
Yeah.
And I'm happy it was.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's in the public conscious now. And the thing about Balotelli is that you can tell that he's had to put up with that his whole entire football career.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. It's a wonder he's as sane as he even is. People say he's got a little bit crazy, got a little bit of an edge to him. He's a little bit unpredictable. Really, can you blame him? Like, as far as he's concerned, he's Italian, right? But there's going to be some people who will never see it that way.
Yeah.
See it that way. But yeah, it's on the forefront now. So hopefully we'll see things changing for the positive. I sincerely hope so. Because now we're starting to hear about it, starting to see about it. They're realizing that there's something that needs to be tackled. Definitely. Anyway, we kind of touched on Liverpool attacking assets, Salah and Mane. Derek, I believe you mentioned, are the fullbacks, are they now essential?
After the City game, they are most definitely essential. And
Nice.
I would say it's definitely, you need at least one of them on your team, if not both of them. They've got a very healthy, competitive nature to them. So they both kind of want to outscore, out-assist, outplay each other. And it's very good. Do you know what I mean? For the team and for themselves to have someone to challenge and, something to push themselves towards. And they work really hard. Trent is on, most of the set pieces. Robbo bombs down the left flank, makes runs into the box, lays off. He's dangerous. If not in the box, he's crossing balls through. They're basically essential. I think if you don't have them, you're definitely going to suffer. So, I know what I'm doing.
I am going to preach caution. Sorry, James, are you going to say something?
I was going to say something that's going to wind everybody up.
Oh, no, do it. We want to wind people up. Get winding.
I heard a statement today that Robertson is the best fullback in the world, and I completely agreed with it.
Well, you've said that before, though, haven't you?
Yeah, but a lot of other people are agreeing with me now, and it's picking up legs.
So you would have Robertson. Have you got Robertson?
No,
Why don't
I've
you
got
have
Alex
Robertson then?
because Alexander-Arnold gets goals.
Swap him for Robertson then. Put your money where your mouth is. Swap him for Robertson. I'll do it for you, yeah? Give me your login. Give me your password. I'll do it for you. Yeah, you're talking, but you're not doing it.
I'll tell you what, for purposes of fantasy football, Robertson is not going to get points that I need over Trent. Because I know Trent scores goals and I know goes a bit more. Or going back,
Robertson just scored the goal. He takes shots every single season.
He does.
I think he might score 1 or 2 less than Trent, but essentially he's a lot more nailed. Yeah, he's a little bit cheaper than him at the moment because I think he might be at 7 or 7.1 and Trent's at 7.2. There's still a chance that Gomez is going to come in there at some point.
Yeah. But
anyway, what I wanted to say is that I would exercise caution on the whole essential thing, and here's why. First of all, the fixtures are really piling up for Liverpool. Already they don't have a game in game week 18, right, because of that whole Club World Cup thing.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's getting tight for them. The rotation is going to kick in, all right? They're still in the League Cup. Yeah, they're still competing in the Champions League. They're probably going to go far in the FA Cup. Yeah, you will certainly see games where they're not going to be playing. The other thing I would say is that if you're going to have a Liverpool fullback, by all means have one, but it depends on what you're going to do with the rest of your team. Because as far as defenders go, they are the most expensive defenders, right? But they're not keeping clean sheets. Yes, they're getting assists and goals and bonus, as long as the attackers aren't scoring, which is great. But for 4.5, as we've seen, you've got the likes of Tomori, Soyuncu, you've got even Lundstram. They're all racking up points because they're keeping clean sheets. So
Tomori first team.
I would have thought so. What indication have we got that he isn't?
Tomori is first.
So they pick him over Zuma and Christensen.
Well, Christensen definitely. Christensen ain't getting in that team, and
Tomori starts.
Yeah, and you know what Lampard is like. He'll pick you, and if you play well, you get to stay in the team. Anyway, the other thing I wanted to say is that I think if you're going to have a Liverpool fullback, you need to save the money somewhere, and you probably have to save it in midfield because essentially what you're getting are midfielders because they're not going to keep clean sheets, or they're very unlikely to keep clean sheets. So you have to factor in the fact that you're losing out keeper defenders who will be keeping clean sheets. And so you have to think to yourself, I'm actually spending money on a midfielder here. And so you have to take the money out of midfield. That's how I would approach it.
I think you've got it backwards in the midfield sense. So you say you're spending money on a midfielder, but you're saying if I spend 7 mil as opposed to 12 mil on Sterling, for example, I can get a possible clean sheet, which gives me a total of 6 points without bonus. And then on top of that, I can get an assist or a goal, which would be worth another 5 or 6 points.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. They
For
are
half the price.
Who are also getting clean sheets, and they're going to cost you like 2.5, 3 mil less, yeah? And you've got that extra 3 mil to spend, elsewhere in your team.
No, but they won't get your assists or goals, though.
They might not, but the Liverpool fullbacks, I can't see them keeping clean sheets. I don't really think that's the agenda at the moment.
With the upcoming fixtures, I do. They've got Palace, Brighton, Everton, Bournemouth, and Watford. That's 5 brilliant games for them.
I think Liverpool will keep those clean sheets. Reason being because it's not just about the defenders; it's about like Alisson as well.
Give me a break. See, you all thought that Liverpool would start keeping clean sheets when he's back in the team, but they haven't been. Okay, sometimes you have to realise that these football managers, they ain't playing FPL. Sure, they'd like to have a clean sheet, but they'd much rather win the game. And if that means having to concede 1 goal and losing the clean sheet, then they will always take that. Liverpool have to keep it up. Yeah, and to keep it up, that means you've got to attack, you've got to score goals. And that means, do you know what? I ain't even going to get into this now because I'm just setting myself up. The two of you, one on one side, one on the other.
I'm not saying they'll keep clean sheets all the time.
Yeah.
I do think it is worth investing in one of the assets.
I agree with you.
Not only the fact that they will most likely return, but the fact that it then makes you safe from a massive move when they do return, and most of the other FPL managers will have it. So I think it's more of a safety net as well.
Yeah.
Just to hedge a little bit.
If you are going to get Liverpool players, the fullback's definitely one of them. I actually started the season with VVD. I don't know what I was thinking.
Oh, same here.
I got off that really quickly.
You're all about to witness a monumental throwdown.
Yes.
Anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
United assets. I believe you brought that up, Derek. And if you're going to bait me, it's not working. I think I've said everything I had to say about Man United. And their game against Bournemouth proved the point I've been making for the past 2 months. So I'm done.
All right. Martial, I'm going to hold on to him. I'm not going to ditch him just yet. Hopefully he's going to return for me. As soon as he returns, I'm getting rid because I'm not going to hold my breath with United. They've got some good fixtures coming up. They've got Brighton, Sheffield and Aston Villa. I know Sheffield have got a solid defence. Villa are going to be leaky. Brighton, they should score something against them. After that, United are gone.
Yeah. I don't think the Brighton defence is that bad, actually.
It's not. Definitely not.
Matt Ryan is up there. I'm seriously thinking about swapping Pope for him.
Really?
Jamesy? Yeah, the way that Burnley fell apart against Chelsea, I'm starting to think that, I don't know. The thing is, we know that Burnley have got it in them to be tight, but sometimes it's something you have to work on, and it takes 2 or 3 games for them to be tight. And I don't know if I'm going to sit there watching Pope get 1 point or 2 points while they get themselves sorted out. Well, Matt Ryan's keeping clean sheets. Henderson's keeping clean sheets. I don't know. Don't get me wrong. I'm not always in a rush to make a goalkeeper transfer, by all means. But it's on my mind, definitely. It's on my mind. Yeah. Some people are holding on to Maguire. They still think they're going to get some change out of him. Me personally, I need to think about what I'm going to do with Cho. And Daniel James has come up because I think out of all the United assets, it's him, Rashford, and Martial are definitely the ones most likely to get points, really.
Rashford and Martial, yeah, I agree.
Check this out. And United fans have been saying that when Daniel James was on the right, or was it the left? Anyway, he started the season on one of the wings, and it was when he was cutting in on his opposite foot, he was scoring all those goals. But because Martial's back, he's been displaced. So it's possible that he's not going to find his early season form again unless one of Martial or Rashford has to sit out. I don't know. Does any of that make sense? Or I've just been talking complete crap there, haven't I?
The thing is, if you look at the United team, yeah, that they don't really have that much going forward anyway. Yeah. So whenever they play games, they have to go with the kitchen sink when it comes to attackers. Their backup attacker is Mason Greenwood. That should just tell you all.
Man like Greenwood.
I think if Greenwood got given 90 minutes, he'd surprise a few people. He just doesn't get given 90 minutes.
He played well in Europa.
Yeah, exactly. He's scoring in the cup games, scoring in Europa. And I don't know what's happened to Lingard, though. That's a strange one.
J-Lings.
It is.
Ben Foster had more shots on target this season than Jesse Lingard, I saw.
Oh, you had to get that in. Like, you guys, again, we're just kind of ganging up on Man U here. Ganging up. It shouldn't be allowed. Or maybe it should. I don't know. James, I think you're carrying a massive chip on your shoulder. I
tell you what, here's my opinion. I think United need to purchase one more attacker. They need that badly. I don't think Daniel James should be getting first team games and playing every single. I think he's good, but I feel like he's going to get injured very soon and he'll be out for a long while because they're working him way too hard.
Sorry to go off track here. You mentioned United purchasing another attacker. Have you guys seen the recent transfer news?
What?
Sterling.
Yeah, Sterling.
I'm dead set Sterling. Is it Real Madrid?
Happened. Yeah.
Yeah. Bill plus how much? Some money?
70 million.
70 mil, that's it.
Why would Man City want Bale?
Exactly. Forget Man City. Why would Pep want Bale?
Yeah, it's definitely not in their best interest to accept that deal.
There's a million reasons why they shouldn't. Plus, Pep has invested a lot of time and effort with Sterling as well.
Yeah.
When that happens, you want to keep the player. You want to help them. You want to see the fruits of your investment. Certainly. I don't know about that. Although you can never tell in football, I suppose. Everybody wants to play for Real Madrid, don't they? They all say that, don't they, footballers? Mm-hmm. Even if they don't say it, they think it deep down. I think Aubameyang still holds that candle. He's probably thinking it's still going to happen at some point. When he was at Dortmund, he used to throw a strop every time Real Madrid said they wanted him. He put him on the bench and said, sort yourself out, man. You're not going anywhere. I will play for Madrid one day. Yeah, all right. Then.
Question for you two. How much would you value Sterling in today's market?
I'd put him the same sort of price tag that Neymar's commanding on there.
Ooh. I value him about 90 mil. Is that harsh?
That's too generous.
James.
I'm joking.
It still hurts, doesn't it, James? It's all right.
No.
Talk to your uncle. Tell me what upset you.
All right, jokes aside, I would value Sterling around 140, 150 mil. A little bit more than Coutinho went for. Well, a lot more than Coutinho went for because he was like 120. Less than Neymar. Definitely.
120. So who does more for a team, Sterling or Coutinho?
Sterling.
Why?
So what you have to remember about Sterling is that he's still young, and one of these days he'll show you. I remember thinking once that all David Beckham could do was hit a ball that wasn't moving. I thought that's literally all he could do. No, forget Beckham. I remember once thinking that, all Steven Gerrard can do is run and tackle, right? Then he started shooting and scoring. Then I actually saw him properly dribble as well. One of these days, we're going to see Sterling. He's gonna throw out those skills, those mad skills, those mad FIFA advert skills. Yeah, you're going to be surprised. He had it in him the whole time. He just hasn't had a chance to show it yet. I
honestly believe Sterling has it in him. I agree with you. I believe that. I say that from his youth performances that I saw in the past. I know he's capable. But most players are capable, really. In training, some of these players are doing crazy things. And one thing I'll say as well is I'm actually being safe rather than sorry, I think Coutinho is more valuable because Coutinho gets assists and
Sterling gets assists. Sterling gets assists for days.
Yeah. Coutinho can change the game single-handedly. He can be the catalyst. Sterling's never been the catalyst.
Yes, he has.
I don't
He
agree
totally
with that.
has. There was a game last season which was heading for a 0-0 draw. Sterling popped up, I think it might have been the 93rd minute, and he got the winning goal.
Yeah.
If you hadn't have done that, Man City would have won the title.
Let's put it this way. Sterling plays with world-class players and he still stands out. Coutinho goes to play at Barca and sometimes he doesn't even get to play. He just looks like, he's a good player. He's not no standout player.
He plays with average players and he makes the team win against big teams.
Ooh. You know, I'm not quite ready to put Coutinho in that bracket.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes Coutinho can go missing. Okay, all players go missing, actually.
Coutinho goes missing.
With Coutinho, sometimes it's mystifying, why he just doesn't do what he's supposed to be doing.
That's why Inter Milan sold him to Liverpool in the first place.
Well, again, I think the thing about Klopp is that he's got an eye. For God's sake, you guys, I'm not going to talk about Liverpool anymore.
Yeah, let's move on from Liverpool. Let's move on.
Do you know what? I'm ready to do predictions and picks. How about you?
Not yet. One or two more bits. And James, you're not allowed to bring up Liverpool or refer to any Liverpool players.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm with that, guys.
All right, cool. Thank you. So, before we do the player picks, there's one or two more things I want to talk about.
Yeah, sure.
First thing is Sheffield United.
Yeah.
Playing brilliantly.
Mm-hmm.
Is this just a phase or do we see it lasting? Is it a Norwich thing or do we see it lasting, guys?
I think it's lasting.
Lasting, yeah.
I wouldn't say it's going to last the whole season, but I'd say get on Sheffield United while you can, and then when they start to wobble, just get off that.
Okay, I agree with you, and that's what I'm going to plan to do. I might even think about investing in more of their defenders than I currently have because they're good value for money and obviously they push up.
No, definitely. There's joy to be had with the Henderson, the goalkeeper. I think the guy I named the other day, was it Jack O'Connell? Is that his name? And then they've got another defender as well who's also decent. And then obviously there's Lundstram.
Yeah.
James, did you have anything to say on that?
Myself, I'll be honest with you, because it's going to sound really ignorant right now, but because I don't...
You ignorant?
Because I don't know Sheffield United that well, I just wouldn't pick any of their players. I don't watch their games.
Well, I think you should get to know them because they're really good value for money, to be fair.
You're right.
Yeah, look, and if you want to save some money, there's this guy, Baldock, he's 4.5, defender. Stevens, 5.1 defender, but he's got 49 points. He's up there. Look, nobody's going to make you watch their games. I wouldn't say they were necessarily bad, but they're probably not the best. But it's just about saving money and getting those clean sheets and those 6-pointers, Can mean the difference.
Flex. There's one next week that's probably going to be the game of the season, but I can't talk about it.
Yeah, just cool your jets, man. Okay, I think you could manage, just to lay down low for a couple of minutes. But
100%.
Listen, I'll give you some credit, James. I haven't seen you do this well in FPL. Will ever actually?
Ever. Yeah. That's a fact. That is 100% a fact.
So
I'm sure I'm still ahead of him.
Pardon?
You are. It's true. But usually James is in the lower half of the table. At this point. And if you want to push up and pick up that Originals trophy, my man, you've got to look at the players, not necessarily the teams that you're going to... Again, you don't have to watch these players. You just have to know they're doing well and just get them in your team,
You're right. The only issue is that, I don't know, for me, the reason I do watch football players, because I'm not going to lie, I enjoy just watching football in general. And that's the only reason why I part in fantasy football for real. Just to make games more interesting, games that I don't necessarily pay attention to. United seem interesting. I am probably going to watch Sheffield United. I'm just joking. But
no, honestly, you don't have to. Don't feel like you have to.
I am. But the reason why what I'm interested in Sheffield United, I'm actually quite curious to see if they play Ravel Morrison. If Ravel Morrison comes on and he turns up, I want to see because there's been a lot of talk about him. I want to see what he can do. That's why I pay attention to them, if that makes sense.
No, you know what? That's a good point. I completely forgotten all about that kid. I don't know. I mean, they are rotating their attackers, so maybe he will come on. But you've got to take into account how the way they play. The way they play, they're really tight. They're really disciplined. You know, they work really, really hard. And when they don't have the ball and they have to defend, you can see them all running around like headless chickens. Yeah, just blocking their goal, defending their goal. That's how they get down. They've got some good passes on the ball as well. Sometimes they only need 2 or 3 chances to score in a game. You know, what's the name of the Sheffield United manager? I can't remember, but he's got Morrison on the book. Sorry?
Chris Wilder. Sorry.
Wilder, yeah. Maybe he's just got him on the books just to have him. And he thought, oh, maybe I need somebody with Premier League experience or has experience of having played in a big team or my team. But I can't help thinking that he's probably thinking, I don't really need this kid. He's a complete nutter and we're doing quite well.
I think that he probably is thinking that. But I think in him thinking that, it's just, I don't know.
No, you're right. You've got a point.
Yeah, we'll see anyway. We'll see. I think that him thinking that is potentially a mistake. That's
potentially. But who knows? If things go wrong, we might see him.
You're all about to witness a monumental throwdown.
Was there anything else before we move on to player picks and predictions?
No, let's move on to player picks and predictions for next week.
Okay, I will start with the predictions, and it is game week 12, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so again, I'm going to try and concentrate on the games that only James will be watching. Saturday lunchtime, we have Chelsea versus Crystal Palace.
Yeah. You missed out the most important game. Norwich-Watford.
Oh, yeah. You're going to be taping that, aren't you?
Yeah, I've already got the series link on that. You know?
Yeah, that's right. We'll come round yours. Yeah, bring the beers, pizza.
Oh, yeah.
So who wants to go first with the prediction?
I'm happy to go first.
Go on.
So I think that Chelsea Crystal Palace game is a game that's not going to be as straightforward as we think. Crystal Palace are doing quite well right now. It's not that far from home, so they're not really going to be intimidated. So I don't think having any players there is really going to get you any massive points. So that's why I kind of feel that I probably would steer away from that a little bit. The game where I think that there is potential of getting a lot of points, I would say is...
Well, you haven't told us your prediction before you move on.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, I think Chelsea will get 1-0 or 2-1, something like that. No more than 2 goals. No more than 1 goal for each player.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think Chelsea will just about win that game because I think they're capable of winning it. Having said that, Chelsea are better away from home as it's emerging. Plus, Crystal Palace can give anyone a game. And last season, they were also better away from home than they were at Selhurst Park. So, yeah, and Chelsea just don't keep clean sheets. And I think this is another game where they're going to lose it. I don't know, Derek, what do you think?
I think Chelsea are going to win it, but they're not going to keep a clean sheet. So I'll probably see a 2-1 or 3-1 win for Chelsea. Because they are.
Fair enough. Then, if indeed anybody cares, and a couple of people might still do because there's still plenty of Kane owners out there and a smattering of Son owners. We've got Spurs versus Sheffield United. Sorry, I was going to say White Hart Lane, but it is the new White Hart Lane.
Oof. Glad they kept the White Hart Lane name. I did call it something arena or something like that.
The Spurs Arena.
Yeah.
I don't know why I find that funny. Never mind. Okay, I'm going to make a prediction, and I am going to say, actually, you know what? I'm going to say 0-0. In fact, I'm going to be bold. Okay. How's that for a bold prediction?
To be honest with you, I can see it. I can see it.
Yeah, ball draw here. Spurs don't really know how to break teams down because they haven't got a lot of creative players, in my opinion, at the moment to break Sheffield down. And Sheffield are playing away from home. Spurs will take a lot of pride and will try not to concede at home. So I do see a bit of a stalemate here. But yeah, sadly, I agree with you on that one.
You think it's going to be a draw as well?
I think either a no-score draw or Sheffield United will win.
Whoa! Here we go. What if Kane's back?
I don't think that matters.
Yeah, I think Kane's not.
Wow.
He's not been explosive this season. He's not feared.
He needs a run of games to score. He needs to score 2 and 2. before he scores 3 in 3. I don't see him as someone that will miss one game without scoring or miss a couple games without scoring and gets back into his scoring ways. He seems somebody that he needs his confidence to be built over a period of time, not just like that.
Well, they got Champions League this week. If he's back for the Champions League and he scores, then who knows?
I think that makes a massive difference if he scores in the Champions League. But yeah, we'll see.
It will be more interesting. Okay, Leicester versus Arsenal at the King Power Stadium.
This is going to be a very, very interesting game, and I'm going to be looking forward to this. I'm going to be watching this game. Leicester, top form, flying right now.
Yeah.
Far from second place. Got a lot to play for. Arsenal, this game could make a massive statement for the club right now in turmoil. You've got the manager who's got something to prove against Leicester, who, you know, are in the place where Arsenal want right now. So
you're really selling this to me.
You're really selling
me. You should work for Sky, Derek. I love the way you're laying this out.
I'm not joking. This is going to be a massive game. Both teams love to attack. They've got very attacking players. They've got fast players. Yeah. They've got young players as well to offer. You know, you've got your Aubameyang, you've got your Sakas. You know, you've got pacey players. I hope he plays Pepe as well. And then you've got your Vardis. You've got your Perez's as well. It's going to be a very, very good game. And just to get to the predictions, I think Leicester is going to win. Just because Arsenal defence is worse than Leicester's. That's the only reason. But I can see goals in this game.
That is true. I think that's a fair assessment. James?
I think Arsenal have to win this game. Like they have to win it. And because they have to win it, I kind of put them as slight favourites.
So, I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
It's the do or die thing for them right now.
It really is.
Yeah. I'm going to have it both ways. On paper, I think Leicester should be winning that game. There isn't any reason why they shouldn't do. On the other hand, every weekend there's a shock. I can't believe I'm about to say Arsenal beating Leicester will be a shock result.
I know, right? How times change.
Yeah. How times change.
How times change. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, who knows? Maybe Ozil will turn up. Maybe we'll get another Pepe free kick. But certainly, because I'm about to go hard on Leicester players, I hope they win. All right, then. Manchester United versus Brighton.
Yeah.
I mean...
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I mean, I can think of a few games which would be a bit more exciting than this, i.e. Norwich versus Watford.
Oh my... Oh, ouch!
Yeah.
Ouch!
It's actually going to be just entertaining in that game. I think
Yeah. Manchester United, they're huffing and puffing. You know, even if they do well in the Europa League this week, it's not likely to make much of a difference. Brighton seem to be hitting a bit of form, don't they? Now, everybody was saying, get Brighton players in and then shipping out before they play Manchester United. But I was thinking to myself, why? keep them for Man United. You never know.
Yeah. I see it as a 2-0 victory for Manchester United. 1 goal in the first half and 1 in the second half. A very boring game. Wolves Aston Villa is actually a derby game. So you have to remember that game was a massive game.
Yeah. This just means it's incredibly unpredictable. And there's a good chance that Villa might win that one because traditionally Wolves do well against the big boys, but then they kind of flatter to deceive against the so-called lower teams.
But a team like Villa, who's going to be fully up for it against Wolves at that time, is going to be...
Although I can see Jimenez getting something in that game, and hopefully Traore as well, because I think now's the time, you know. He didn't have the best of games in the last game against Arsenal, but again, you know, a lot of players get a lot of leeway. Everybody's always jumping on him when he makes a mistake. I say it doesn't make him any worse than anyone else.
You're all about to witness a monumental throwdown.
Okay, then. Finally, James, I'm going to let you off your leash. You can run around a little bit. I've got a squeaky toy here for you as well. Go. Liverpool v Man City. Go, James. Go. Go get it, boy. Go get Liverpool v Man City. Go get it. I'm dying to hear what you have to say about Liverpool v Man City. So let's
Chelsea,
have it, James.
I feel like that game could provide me a lot of heartbreak. So I'm not really looking forward to it at this moment in time. I don't think Liverpool, after the Champions League game, I don't know. Like, if we do very well then, we'll see. But I think Man City are slight favourites for that game at this time.
It's the big one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a big one. Like, for them, this is everything they've been preparing for. They know that they win this game, they become very close to being on top of the table. So I think they are slight favourites for this game. Only slight.
Derek?
So, first things first. Assuming Salah's playing, this changes everything.
Okay.
For the Liverpool squad, full squad, strong squad. You've got Fabinho coming back.
Yeah.
Defenders are fully fit. City are missing defenders. They haven't got a squad at the moment.
True.
City are also not as confident as they were before. There's a few games where they've been behind and they've had to come back. Same as Liverpool. But Liverpool's done it in a style where the team has come together and, you know, like these last-minute winners has made them believe. They've got a lot of belief right now and they've got a lot of trust in the manager.
Yeah.
I don't think City are going to win this game. I see a Liverpool win, and I'm not saying that as a Liverpool fan. I'm saying that because looking at the defence and looking at the offence, I do see City conceding quite a few goals in this game, to be very honest with you.
I think Dejan Lovren Liverpool team is a huge thing as to why Liverpool don't get clean sheets at this moment in time, and Lovren players to being back. So,
oh God, World Cup finalists and still no love. Anyway, I said World Cup finalists and still no love. I'm going to back Liverpool purely because I don't see this game being a draw, and Liverpool are at home, so I'm giving it to them on that basis. Because I'm confident that when they play at the Etihad, Man City will probably win that one. Yeah, there's me going out on a limb. All right, then. Can we have our player picks? How about that?
Yeah.
All right. Who's going first?
Could I go first in this one?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. My first player pick I would pick would probably be Pookie. I'll go with Pookie for Norwich. I feel like he will score goals against Watford because they're the whipping boys. I'll also go with Rashford. I think he'll get one against Brighton. And the last player pick that I'm going to go for will be Jamie Vardy.
So, yeah, that's fair enough. I have to disagree with you with Pookie, even though I own him.
I agree. I don't.
I think it's over for that boy.
Yeah.
It's just over, basically. I think he's like Mitrovic at the beginning of last season. You guys remember how Fulham started and Mitrovic was blazing?
Yeah.
And then he just stopped scoring, and that was it. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you this season's Mitrovic, Timo Pukki. Do you want to go next, Derek, or?
Yeah, sure. I don't mind going next.
All right, then.
So, first player pick. I'll go with the obvious one first, which is Jamie Vardy for Leicester against the failing Arsenal defence at home on a big day. So that's the first pick. So the second pick, this is a bit of a dodgy one, right?
Yeah.
But I think everyone's lost faith in him. And I think Wilson might pull out something against Newcastle this weekend.
Yeah.
I know they're playing away from home, but
Okay.
they've just come off a win against United.
Yeah.
Wilson hasn't scored, and I think he's due a goal very soon. Newcastle don't have the best defence at the moment. They're not that Rafa team anymore, so they're not as organised as they used to be.
They do tend to play 4-5-1 or 5-4-1. You only ever have one person up front, even when they're at home.
Yeah.
So the other thing I wanted to say is that, Callum Wilson, again, people are dumping on this guy. And I don't know why. I think it's really harsh. They're always saying stuff like, oh, he's a troll. Whenever I get him in, he stops scoring. Plenty of players do that. He just has scoring runs. And if you pick him up when he's on a scoring run, he will get you points. The fact is he's a striker. He's a lot better than many strikers in the Premier League. He regularly scores. You know, I have fond memories of Callum Wilson because I remember when he first came into the league and he was only like 5 million. But I remember thinking, he looks really good. I got him into my team. I started picking up fair points and then he got injured. And he's had a lot of problems with injuries in the past. But the thing is, he's like any other striker. People pick him up at the wrong time. But so it's a case of kind of having that sixth sense.
I'm sticking
Yeah.
at him.
I had him at
I'm-
the start, so he got me good points. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
My third pick and final pick would be Sadio Mane.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. This City defense is just not good enough, in my opinion.
It's wobbly, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Very wobbly.
I think they're going to get penetrated.
I think they know how to manage. I honestly believe that. I don't underestimate the City defense in any way whatsoever.
I don't know. I mean, I think on the face of it, the fact that it's in so much turmoil, it's a brave person who's going to put any trust in that. Again, I think a lot of teams have come to terms with the fact that they can't keep clean sheets. They just want to score and win. And for FPL managers, that's not what you want. But that's just how it is. Anyway, I'm going to do my picks now.
Yes.
First of all, I'm going to say the Bournemouth keeper. What's his name?
Bournemouth? Is
it
Foster?
No, it's not.
Sorry.
It's Ramsdale. 4.6 million and 3 clean sheets in a row for Bournemouth. And I think he might keep a fourth one. And if he doesn't, he might get the odd save point. But again, I'm trying to be a little bit different.
Yeah.
So I think Ramsdale, and not just for next week, Ramsdale, somebody you might want to get in for long term. Although, off the top of my head, I think Bournemouth's run is a bit stiff. But anyway, the second pick is San Maximin of Newcastle, because he really impressed me against West Ham. And he's really quick.
Yeah.
Did you see him? He's got some pace. So I think there might be a goal at the end of that, although he hasn't scored for Newcastle yet. But yeah, I can see him scoring. He impressed me. He came with a bit of a reputation, apparently. So I think maybe it's time for him to start producing the goods. And as usual, I've run out of steam after 2. I can't do a third one. Do you want me to do a third one? Who wants the third one? Okay, then. I will just stick with my T. Okay, then. Right, I think we're going to knock it on the head there. We've been talking for about an hour now. And I just want to say thank you, guys, again, for taking part in the pod. Good to meet up with you guys again and do this thing. And to everyone out there who's been listening, hope you enjoyed this episode. And I'm going to say that's a goodbye.
Peace out, guys.
Take care, guys.
Okay, bye-bye.